So what happens? You get heavy metals, it affects the normal gut microbiome, it disrupts the barrier, it alters the metabolism, causes neurological disorders. Many of the detrimental metabolites cause cancer. They cause cardiovascular problems, diabetes, obesity, allergy. Where do these heavy metals come in? They come in your gut. And what do? We give them probiotics. Why? Because probiotics protect intestinal barriers. They enhance absorption, sequestration, chemically modify heavy metals, and facilitate excretion. Yes, they do. Initially. But if you keep loading your system day in and day out, then at some point the probiotics stop working. And that is when our problem starts. That is the reason why, as you grow older, your degenerative disorders start progressing fast. At times they gallop. None of your medications work. None of the supplements work. None of the food work. Why? Because you have destroyed the cause of destruction of your microbiome is still in there. You have not removed the heavy metals. You have not even looked at removing the heavy metals. And why? Because when this starts, it starts because of vague symptoms. All right? Things like chronic fatigue. We say too much of stress. This is where you know your system is getting affected. Depression. There are tons and tons of studies to show you heavy metals. One of the first signs is depression. And we do nothing about it. We give them antidepressants. Anxiety, insomnia, digestive problems. Obviously, if your gut is affected, you're going to have bloating. You're going to have change in your bowel habits. You're going to have indigestion. What do? PPIs, antacids. And then if we don't do anything else, we say, okay, let's treat the gut. But treating the gut is great if you're also treating the cause of the gut inflammation and the gut problems. Hormonal issues. I do a lot of bioidentical hormone replacement for women, both perimenopause, premenopause, and postmenopause. But let me tell you something. I will never start without detoxifying any of my patients properly, because you never know what the heavy metals are doing. And each patient is different. One size doesn't fit all. For all my autoimmune patients, I always detoxify them. Because one of the major and the earliest things that happen to many of these patients, if they are not already having heart disease, is autoimmune conditions. Now, most of the symptoms are very vague, but they later on result in a whole lot of health conditions. And we try to treat those health conditions, but we are never free from them. And that is when you need to look and see, can we go to the root cause? And the root cause is your heavy metals. And so if you really want to go to the root cause, what is the root cause? It is the heavy metals. So what do you need to do? You need to do a real detox. And the real detox is cellular detox. If you want to get well, if you want to get normal, if you want the disease to go away, you have to fix the cell. And today we are realizing that most cells are losing their innate ability to detoxify themselves. And my dear friends, my purpose today is to tell you that we need to fix this. When we do that, the genome can change. When we do that, the cells do what they're meant to do, keep us healthy. So how do we go about it? Remove the source, regenerate the cell membrane, restore the cellular energy, reduce inflammation, reestablish methylation. All of this happens when you start removing heavy metals. So to do a complete cellular detox, you need to open up the downstream pathways and keep them open. The one important thing that I am going to stress today is you need to use true binders or true chelators. These are vehicles that make sure that toxins from the cells that are removed out by various other antioxidants that we use are on their way out of the body into the toilet, so to speak. They're thrown out completely. They don't redistribute themselves. When you don't use a true binder, what happens? Heavy metals are removed from one tissue, dumped elsewhere. They're reabsorbed in the gut and they are again redistributed. This is very, very, very important in those people who are suffering from leaky gut and who have a very bad diet history of having gluten and other things that do cause the leaky gut. So first, let us understand the whole process of chelation. There is something known as mobilization. What is mobilization? Mobilization is stirring up the heavy metal, in this case, mercury, let's say, from the tissues, from where it is sitting. You need to pull it out from there. Mobilization may lead to excretion, but it can also lead to redistribution. So detoxifying or detoxing means you need to mobilize, and after mobilizing it, move it out of the body. There are no true detoxifying agents in our food supplements or in many of the vitamins and minerals that we take, which we claim are chelators or detoxifying agents. All of them are mainly mobilizing agents. Chlorella, cilantro, these are mobilizing agents. Glutathione is a mobilizing agent, and I'll explain that to you a little bit. But ALA, alpha lipoic acid, it has 2 sulfur atoms. It's a diethol. And this is normally used by the body in small parts as part of enzymes for producing cellular energy. But because of these 2 sulfurs, what ALA does is it can bind to mercury and many other heavy metals. Why am I saying mercury? Because a lot of the heavy mercury is sitting in your brain and in your nervous tissues. And ALA is one of the molecules that goes to both of these, and we'll talk about it a little bit. This is one of those binders that can take it out of the body. Healthy body also uses glutathione. We have glutathione stores in our body. What does glutathione do? It also detoxifies your body. What does it do? As the heavy metals come in, it pushes it out of the cells. But it can't take it away from the body. It can only use it to remove it out. It removes mercury and other poisons. You need something else to throw it out. If your body is functioning normally, because of the good amount of metallothioneins present there, so there is another concept of metallothioneins. Metallothioneins are our body's natural chelators, which kind of take all of this that glutathione throws out and pushes it out of the body. But as the overload gets more and more, these metallothioneins don't work. One of those reasons being zinc doesn't work as well because it gets displaced from many of its receptors. And you need zinc to function properly with metallothioneins. And that is when heavy metal toxicity, chronic heavy metal toxicity, starts setting in. N-acetylcysteine is something that many people talk about. Yes, it's great to remove mercury from within the cells. It's also a precursor to glutathione. But it does only part of the work. True chelators penetrate into body tissues and actually pull the mercury out, pull the other heavy metals out, and throw it out of the body. There are various other non-chelators, and I'm stressing on this because people are not understanding and they say chelation doesn't work. There are non-chelators, which some refer to as chelators. These help when the body is, when the heavy metal like mercury is entering into the body. I spoke to you about cilantro and chlorella. Or when you just want to pull it out of those cells and put it into the blood. But they redistribute this, like I said earlier. So if you are using glutathione for detoxification, always use it with a traditional synthetic chelator, like a DMSA oral. GMPS, we don't use much in this country. So my dear friends, these metals are removed by a process of chelation. And my chelating agents, like I said, are EDTA, DMSA, ALA, vitamin C. And surprise, surprise, I also use glutathione and NAC, and I'll tell you why. So what is EDTA chelation? It's a process of removal of toxic heavy metals from the body. And we use a full protocol of IV chelating agent, disodium EDTA for this. Now, EDTA, in my experience and in experience of thousands of doctors, or millions of doctors doing it across the globe, it has been found to be beneficial in occlusive vascular disease caused by atherosclerosis and chronic degenerative diseases as well, like diabetes. One of my first cases, reverse diabetes, and I was shocked. I was shocked. From 40 units of insulin twice a day to 6 units of insulin once a day, and she was doing it more as a placebo for her. I could have removed it off and she was not taking any other medication. EDTA chelates lead, cadmium, and other heavy metals. But please remember, if you're looking for mercury, if you're looking for autistic kids, don't use EDTA chelation. DMSA, this is an oral chelator. It chelates both mercury and cadmium, and I use it for autism and I use it for smokers. We have a smoker's detox and we use it for autistic kids. Please remember, autism, we use it over a period of time. It is not a quick fix. Some kids respond in 6 months, some kids respond in 3 years. But the outcomes in each of those cases is great. This is one chelator that you can use very effectively in wellness protocols. While I've not put in the side effects and the safety slides here, let me tell you, DMSA is one of the safest. And overdose, 170 times of the normal dose, was accidentally given to a toddler of 2 years old. And nothing happened. This has been published in a pediatric literature, so well-renowned pediatric literature. So don't worry about side effects of DMSA. Alpha lipoic acid is potent. Spoke to you about it just now. It's potent antioxidant. It's more potent than vitamin C and vitamin E. But one of the most important things, it is a true binder. It chelates heavy metals. Unfortunately, we don't have the IV version. Whenever I can import it, I import it and use it. But it's an excellent, very good chelator as well. Specifically, if you're doing glutathione for the nervous system to remove mercury, which is sitting there, you need a binder to take it out. IV ALA, even oral ALA will help you. Oral ALA is much slower. You need large doses like 1,200 milligrams a day. But IV ALA of 1,200 milligrams a day is like a supersonic jet together with glutathione or NAC. Like I said, it goes through fat as well as water. So it chelates the entire body. And because it's an oral and it has an oral option, I put it in all my wellness protocols. Anyone who comes to me and says, what is it that I need to do for protecting myself? Oral ALA is one of the antioxidants that I prescribe. and I prescribe a minimum of 600 milligrams a day. And if you are not taking that, you are exposing yourself to a lot of crap. Oral ALA itself will remove a lot of the crap from your body that is getting exposed. And that gives you everything from chronic fatigue to chronic degenerative disorders. There are other things that ALA does, and that's another reason why I want every one of you to have it, and any of your patients to have it. It helps protect the mitochondria, and it recharges vitamin C, like I just told you. But in recharging them, it makes them more effective. It improves insulin sensitivity, and so every diabetic should be having it. It prevents the production of ages. And what are the complications of diabetes? Diabetes complications are caused by ages, right? It keeps your liver healthy. In India, you have it. One of the indications is for liver dysfunction as well. Cataracts, it works for cataracts. My cataract, which was developed 5 years ago, disappeared with 600 milligrams of ALA. And I keep sharing that story, but today I don't have the time to do that. All right? It helps your body withstand the oxidative onslaught of heavy metals. So why not use it? Vitamin C is another major water-soluble antioxidant. It increases extracellular collagen production and important for proper immune cell functioning. I do a full day session on vitamin C. It plays great roles in L-carnitine synthesis, cholesterol metabolism, cytochrome P450 activity. This is one of the channels through which a lot of the metabolites of drugs and heavy metals and everything go out. And it is very important for neurotransmitter synthesis. But all minerals can have their excretion increased by vitamin C, especially ascorbate. Hence, it's a great chelator, a great detoxifying agent. And it chelates lead, mercury, arsenic, cadmium, nickel, beryllium, calcium, copper, magnesium, and zinc. And when you use vitamin C and you know you're doing a detox, especially higher doses of vitamin C, you need to put in a lot of zinc and magnesium. And this is true for EDTA as well. And so when we used to remove heavy metals, we buffer ascorbate with potassium, calcium, magnesium, and we always supplement zinc orally. Now let's come to these two. N-acetylcysteine. This is a thiol. It's a powerful antioxidant. It's an antitoxin. That's an immune support substance and a chelator of mercury. It helps in the phase 2 because it's a sulfur donor. It's phase 2 detoxification. It plays a huge role in the sulfation cycle. It is a methyl donor, my dear friends, for the conversion of homocysteine back to methionine, which is a precursor to glutathione. I don't want to stress on how important it is to ensure that your homocysteine is low and glutathione is high. That's for another day, but please remember, if your homocysteine is high, your glutathione is going to be low. So your detox capacity in the body is anyway low. So you're accumulating far more heavy metals by absorption through the gut than you would have normally done. Glutathione is a major antioxidant produced. It neutralizes damaging free radicals and peroxide molecules. It's present in high levels in the liver, kidney, and the lungs. 3 important organs that are kind of downstream, that throw a lot of the toxins out. But you also remember, glutathione is important in the immune system. It is required in the lymphocyte multiplication, thus helping in developing a very, very, very strong immune system. So my dear friends, chelation does that biochemical detoxification. Chelation does that removal of heavy metals from your gut, from your body. The gut brings it in because of the food that you eat. Even what you're breathing in at the end of the day is sitting in your tissues. When chelation is used, it does the biochemical detoxification. It stops the mechanisms that cause disease formation, that cause chronic degenerative disorders. This is what happens. This is the benefit of chelation if you're going to use it. Now let me briefly speak to you about, Renuka, how much time do I have?
So you have 2 minutes, 2 more minutes to go.
But I started late. Can you give me 5 more minutes?
Sure.
Thank you. So body would recycle any toxin that is not capable of purging, that I've just explained to you. And so when you're looking at chelation or removing or detoxifying your body, you look at all the 7 channels of elimination. And which are these? Lungs, liver, kidney, skin, colon, lymphatic system, and the blood. If one or more of these channels are not working properly, and if you ignore one of these essential systems, the patient will suffer and you will not get the desired results. So please remember that the body is constantly trying to eliminate neurotoxins through its available exit routes. However, because of the lipophilic and neurotropic nature of neurotoxins, most of them are reabsorbed by the abundant nerve endings of enteric nervous system in the intestinal wall. And this is what I want to impress upon you again. 10-day detoxes, be careful. You can create long-term damage. Skin is a very important organ of detoxification and elimination. I can go through a lot of these reports, but there is a lot of evidence that when people were put into saunas, steam saunas, a lot of the toxic metals were thrown out. But steam saunas don't do as well. Many of them had to be supplemented with zinc and selenium, and we need to do it either way when we are detoxing. But understand this, sweat from conventional steam saunas is 95 to 97% water with salt making up the rest of it. But our skin also contains sweat glands and oil glands, both of which help remove a lot of the toxins from the skin. So sweat gets rid of water-soluble toxins and even helps eliminate toxic heavy metals such as mercury and cadmium. There are many studies that have been shown to do that. Oil glands help to remove oil-soluble toxins like gasoline, solvent, pesticides, and ingredients in toothpaste and personal care products, which the body is not able to dispose of unless heavy sweat is provoked. Now, for this to happen, your heat has to be greater than 45 degrees centigrade, which doesn't happen in conventional saunas, because if you cross 40 degrees, your skin will burn. So you need something known as the far infrared sauna. This has been used earlier in various places. This helps specifically when you have bad gut and bad kidneys. The kidneys and the large intestines are already overloaded with toxicity that has greatly reduced their capacity to throw these toxic substances out. This especially happens when you're crossing 50. Why am I talking about this more? Because I am a geriatric physician. I treat a lot of elderly patients, and we need to get them in good health. Otherwise, they're going to keep running and getting worse and worse and worse. So what does far infrared sauna do? It gives you something known as radiant heat. Because of the far infrared emitter, your heat goes within, and there is ambient heating from within. You can raise it up to 55 degrees. We even do it 60 for weight loss. A lot of the fat starts melting. A lot of your toxins are sitting in your fat cells. It speeds up the metabolic processes because half an hour, which is the maximum, in a far infrared sauna is like having a good fast walk or a brisk walk for 14 kilometers. It inhibits the development of pleomorphic microforms, creates a fever reaction slightly, and neutralizes a lot of the bacteria, molds, yeast, and fungi. It increases the number of leukocytes in your blood. It places demand on your heart. So it's like a workout. It also drops your diastolic blood pressure slightly. It stimulates dilation of peripheral blood vessels. And it relieves pain. Speeds up the healing of strains, sprains, bursitis, arthritis, and most importantly, peripheral vascular disease symptoms, which many of your elderly patients have. But every patient who goes through far infrared saunas will tell you it promotes relaxation, thereby creating a feeling of well-being. They tell you they feel great. So my dear friends, far infrared saunas are capable of covering a broad range of chemicals than any single chelating agent. And therefore, I always use it for my patients who can afford it. I tell them invest in one because you will not be coming back to me to take IV chelation all the time. You are living in a world which has got so much that you are exposed to. And you're going to keep getting exposed to it. And you need to keep detoxifying yourself. And you need to keep your downstream healthy. That is your kidneys, liver healthy, your gut healthy, so that it can do its normal process. So a lot of the overload goes out from a far infrared sauna. If your doctors who have not invested in it, you should if you want to detoxify your patients. I don't sell it, so I'm not selling you anything. I'm just selling you a concept that will help you do great for your patients. Chelation is focused almost exclusively on heavy metals, while sweat detoxification pulls out the other toxins and relieves the load on the kidneys, liver, and your gut of all foreign materials that are needed to be eliminated from the body. So please remember this. You need to go for a multimodular or multimodal approach when you're detoxifying your patients properly. When you have a toxic situation, remember, your livers and kidneys are the first to get negatively impacted. So first, always check their functioning. If their functioning is not good, don't detoxify IV or even using oral chelators. You need to get their functioning up a little, support them first, and then start chelating that patient. And due to modern diets, my dear friends, like I just told you, you have a toxic cesspool in that colon. This diminishes the capacity to eliminate the toxic loads, even when you're using good oral chelators. So you need to be careful. Always open up the detox channels first. Make sure your kidneys are functioning properly. Make sure your colon is cleansed. Make sure you're having things that you can do for where the microbiome works. So I've not spoken about glyphosate here. Glyphosate affects your microbiome as well. Far infrared saunas help you detoxify your microbiome from glyphosate. We need to pull these heavy metals without dumping them into the body, where they do extensive damage on the way out, or worse, they just get redistributed, my dear friends, to other organ systems. And it is done, it's made worse rather, because of the slow moving flow through a congested colon. So opening up your kidneys, liver is very, very important. You need to support them, but you need to take some of the overload off by opening up your skin channels as well. My dear friends, at the end of it, I know we are all looking at a quick fix. In detox, there are no quick fixes. We need to look at skin as an alternate route of excretion of toxins, lessen the burden on kidney, liver, and colon, leave it exclusively for 1 year, once in 2 years, chelation that you may need to do to remove heavy metals. So explore the possibility of far infrared saunas as well as a complementary therapy when you're using IV or oral chelation. I use them in my clinics and encourage my patients to invest in them. because investing in them now will cut down a long-term expense, which is going to be 10 times probably of what their investment will be today.